Hello, everyone. A very good morning. But today we'll be talking about the biotechnology ignition grant. As I already mentioned, Dr. Vaskar, this side from KIT TBI. Let me just share my screen. My screen is visible to everyone.
Yes, it is visible.
Yes.
So first of all, thank you so much for joining for the session. As you know that BIG call or the grant got open, and today the very first day. So I really very thankful to everyone for joined as you have joined for this session. And this would be, let me tell you that you won't be really very upset after this, because you'll be very happy to know that there are many opportunities that you would have been missing for, okay, since long time. Because this biotechnology ignition grant, it gives you a platform to transform your idea to a next level. So that's why they call it as a BIG, biotechnology ignition grant. They try to motivate you, like, think big, dream big, believe big, and the results will be big for sure. So today's overview, like, what are the things that I'm going to cover during my presentation? There's an overview of a BIG scheme, and I'm not sure that how many of you are really aware of this scheme, but anyways, for whoever is a newcomer or listening for the very first time, so for them only, I'll be giving a very brief about the BIG scheme. Then after that, how to proposal, like fill the proposal, and after that, the pitch deck. So all these key criterias or the key points will be discussed. I'd like to request all of you, if you really want, you can have a picture snapshot of the slides, or you can note it down, because these points would be really helpful during your application process. So just to give you an lecture kind of thing, like awards or grants, it doesn't happen by chance. It's not like a lottery ticket you are going to buy, and tomorrow, hey, in the morning, you just wake up with the news or the message, text message, or the WhatsApp message now these days that you got a lottery or you got a grant of 50 lakh of rupees. It doesn't happen like that, right? So to get that 50 lakhs, to get that grant, you need to go through several steps. You need to go through several dedication, hardship. So what are the things? It's success is always a tip of an iceberg. People only do see the top of part, but nobody sees actually what kind of dedication or hard work or disappointment you have gone through. So to get the BIG grant, we would not say it's too difficult, but we would not say also it's very easy, because you have to be a dedicated one, have to have a plan, you have to have a disciplined thing to get this grant. Okay. So about the BIG, it started around 11 years ago in 2012, where from the Department of Biotechnology, they have started this wonderful opportunity for the startups, generally aiming for the for novel cutting edge ideas that are market driven, have social impact. People have seen that PhD has been done, many theses has been completed, but when we work with the thesis or the PhD, we work with objectives to complete a problem or solving a problem. But what if this solution has a commercial point of view? So that was the missing part, where the DBT got understood this, and they have opened this biotechnology ignition grant. They propose for the big schemes to foster generation of ideas which would be having commercialized potential. They can be upscaled, they can be validated, and they can be prepared as a proof of concept. It will give you or it will leverage the opportunity to create your dream. If you have an idea, then you have worked for it, then you go for the final implementation or the application in the real-time scenario. They generally, for this BIG, they give you 18 months, 15 lakhs of rupees. That is a granting aid. So there is no liability assigned with in general in terms of the legal terms, but you will be getting 50 lakhs for this 18 months to work upon. So about the BIG Biotechnology Ignition Grant, as I already mentioned, is a startup funding program for the Birac to support research projects that aim to establish or validate the proof of concept for promising and innovative technology idea with a commercialized potential. That idea that we are going to propose, that should be having a commercialized potential or the commercialized point of view. So what are the it supports the ideation to POC level. You need to understand for the BIG eligibility criteria. Main part is it has to be within ideation to POC level. If you have an idea within that POC or proof of concept level, then only it will be supporting you. It nurtures the entrepreneurs to enable the translation of ideas into commercially viable products. It gives you the platform, it gives you the money or the funding opportunity, funding. It gives you, ecosystem to grow. It gives you all the connects. It helps you. It nurtures you. So if you want to kickstart your entrepreneurial journey, so if you're a researcher background or the startup or the initiation of this, it would be a great opportunity for you to kickstart your journey with this BIG. And it enables biotech-based startups. I mentioned it is a biotechnology ignition grant. It means the biotech-related work would be also there, and it helps the Indian-based companies who are going to start up to compete in a global market. They give you a support to compete in a global market and stand alone over there, creating a make in India thing. So who can apply? It's quite available in the website as well, but I'm also trying to mention over here as well. Like the individuals, the students, academicians, scientists, clinicians, researchers can apply for this project. Leaders as well as a team. The biotech startups who has a startup and are less than 5 years old, who has been incorporated like after or in July 2018, they only will be considered, because if you are more than a 5 years of startup, then you are out of the eligibility criteria. And when can you apply? You are the right time, because we have started the next 23rd call and from the 1st of July, and the end date of the application would be 16th of August. In general, twice the application window will be open in a year, like in a January to February and July to August. So this time, this is like till 16th August, the time is there. So hurry up. You need to be very focused about your writing applications and all. What are the points you should not miss that we'll be discussing today? And after that, you have to apply within 16th of August. One thing to mention over here, do not wait for the last time, like the 16th of August, 5 o'clock. Let me tell you that from my experience that it will be really crowded at that time. So let's get a target like within 10th of August, we can apply, we can submit our application. That will be fine. In the like portal, you can start your application process and save it for later, and then you can go for next time submit the application within that deadline. So that can be done. As I was mentioning about this, there in BIT, there's it's related to biotechnology mainly, but in that biotechnology umbrella, there's 5 different thematic sectors generally they consider. Like it would be agriculture and allied areas. So if your idea is having within the medical devices field, drugs, biosimilars or the vaccines, industrial biotechnology, if you're having an idea regarding the bioenergy, biofuels, waste management, you're like waste to wealth or the waste to valuable product you are producing from the biotechnology or the biological related wastes. And then the bioinformatics, is if you're having that AI, ML, or the medical devices, that will be, pitching in this AI, ML based technologies would be also eligible for application for this VIG. So one thing to consider over here, that what kind of technology would be supported and what would be not. So it would be giving you a proper idea about that before starting your application process. So BIG supports who are having innovative idea related to this biotechnology and a similar field that I mentioned already, and it has to have a commercialized potential, or it has to be market driven. There should be a need in the market, that it has to be, if you want to sell it, it can be sold afterwards if you're getting a product. And what kind of product or project is not supported? So if you think about it, you have a discovery based research. If you want to complete core R&D based research, that you want to discover something, you want to know a metabolic pathway, for example, the it is an use. Obviously, this is science. Is every discovery is important, but when you think about the commercial potential, you need to think about, for the BIG at least, that it should not be completely related to only the research. There's no outcome of the product. Tangible product is not coming, then it would not be eligible. One more thing, that if you want to do the PhD through this project, and you are thinking that you are within this 50 lakhs, you'll be completing your PhD, you can submit your thesis and all, then it would not be possible. Okay, and the projects only involve the clinical trials. For example, if you're thinking you have already made your product, you want to go for only clinical trials, you will be applying for the BIG, but it would not be possible because, uh, as I already mentioned, it is like ideation to POC level. So there's a TRL level, technology readiness level. I'll discuss about this later. In that TRL level, if you are coming within 1 to 3, then only you will be able to apply. If it is beyond TRL 3 or 3, or if you already developed a prototype of product, then it would be like beyond BIG. It would not be eligible for this. So why to apply? It's like project proposal. BIG can only be applied only by registering or logging to the Birac website. In that website, you need to choose a BIG partner. There are 8 BIG partners, but I'll be mentioning you while the going through. I'll take you all to a virtual tour of how to fill up the application process for your better understanding. There you would be able to see there are 8 BIG partners. Where amongst them, so while choosing or completing the BIG application, you need to choose KittyBI as a BIG partner for implementing your project or your BIG dream. Okay, then evaluation criteria. Let us see about that. What are the evaluation criteria? Generally, 5 different points are mentioned or generally taken care of. That is the unmet need, that it max 20 marks, where you need to talk about what is the need of that your product or your proposed idea. Then value proposition, or what is the differentiation, what is the technical viability, whether it's a technical viable or not, or feasible or not, team strength or the passion, like who are the team members are there, and how much expertise they have, and what is the enthusiasm in them, that is also being marked. And again, the business perspective. As I mentioned, this commercial potential is one of the key criteria of the BIG project. So if you're only having an idea, that's not a final thing. It has to have a commercial potential, also commercial point of view. So the role of a BIG partner, as I mentioned, BIG partner works as a middleman between you as a grantee or the applicant or the startup and between the Birac. So BIG partner generally facilitate the complete growth of the entrepreneurial journey of the particular grantee. Okay, through getting all the opportunities from the Birac only. And other than that, we during the post onboarding, so you have to first apply to a BIG partner. When you get selected and you get incubated with the BIG partner, then you'll be trying to get as post onboarding the prototyping and product development facilities, business development facilities, where you will be getting the access to the investors, the legal licensing and other supports. They'll be helping you ecosystem connects, the fundraising, other like it's not only the BIG. After that, what are the other fund opportunities that will be able to give you the ecosystem, and also the business mentoring. So all this 360-degree approach or help or would be facilitated to the grantee. So this is the selection process, where if you're really applying this time, so after the application process, it will be going for the eligibility criteria that will be done by the BIG partner where in the KTBI team. Then after that, it will be going to our online platform review panel, where that is step 2, where your project will be going to 5 different experts, and in the 5 different experts similar to your field or the domain that you have applied for, they will be giving their expertise, comments, and the numbers. When all the 5 numbers get collated, it would be average and mean. This average value would be then considered for the cutoff score. So if you are crossing the cutoff score, then you'll be going for the next step. Simple. Then after that, that is a thematic technical expert panel. That's a TEP presentation. This is the main panel where we have to present in front of 8 to 9 or 10 sometimes of different experts from different pan India with a similar domain of the field. But there would be some investors. There would be some that total 9 to 10 expert panel comprises of different backgrounds, like from an investor background, from an industry, from an academia, from a business point of view, businessman. So all these experts would be evaluating your project. You have to present over there, like you have to pitch your presentation on the proposed idea for 8 minutes. Then after that, 12 minutes of discussion. When you completed that, the experts give their suggestions and the comments and the numbers and the scores as well. So if you're scoring good in a higher level, then you will be selected for the next expert selection committee, where the BIDAC people and the deputy secretary all generally sit together and they set a cutoff mark. And they after that, if you're amongst the top 10 or 12, something like that, then you would be getting selected for the final BIG BIDAC round. So this is how it would be going for the For in general, the time would be taking for the step two to three. It takes 30 to 35 days, and after that, from step three to final, it would be taking 15 20 days almost. It may vary. Sometimes got delays due to some other reasons, but in general, this is the standard time it follows. So now the important part: tips on preparing your BIG proposal and a pitch deck for the TP round. So this is very important that you need to be considering. The first thing, so I'll be considering while taking this session, I'll be going through the pitching, how to prepare your perfect pitch, as well as I'll be giving the tips for writing the proposals, because the topics are similar, quite similar, and the points or the key points that I will be mentioning that you need to be taking care of. That's common. Okay, so to start with the enterprising pitch or the approach, you need to talk about that why it matters. That is the method. Sell the question. Understand the buyer wants. Understand what they are asking for. Because when you are proposing, why it is necessary, why it is needed, that point has to be very well, defined. That sell your experience for. There has to be unmet need of your proposed idea that has to be there. And while you are pitching, you have to sell it like there is no other way around or other options available in the market or available in this domain right now that can be competing with your idea. So you have to be very perfect on that. So this is the format of the pitch that you need to prepare, as well as few of the topics of this would be covered in that application form as well. So during the application process, also you need to submit one pitch deck. So in that pitch deck, you need to follow this complete this pattern or these points. So I would like to request all of you to either take a snapshot or a photo or to write it down. What are the points? I'll be mentioning in details about the complete category or the criterias. So these are the first one, like title you need to talk about in your slide or in your page. Then you need to talk about the problem or the opportunity. How generally this is somewhat like many of you are well aware of how to write a proposal. Not all, but I would say the many of you, but you need to understand what are the key points for this BIG has to be highlighted. That is the important part. So first thing, the title, and then problem statement. Then you need to talk about the solution of your, like what your solution, like trying to say, the technical details, the preliminary results, team, novelty, feasibility, the competitive landscape. You need to talk about the business model and roadmap, how what would be your journey, the objectives and milestones, supportive evidences, the willing to form a startups, fund or receive. So, but these are the questionnaires that we need to mention. Then the Gantt chart, the budget, response to online review comments that you have got, and any other technical details if you want to mention, the letter of intent, letter of support from advisors, and the grants received so far. So these are the criteria, these are the points that you need to mention in your pitch deck as well as in your proposals. Okay, so let's start with the title one. One very example, like suggestions would be for your title, it has to be a very crisp and simple, and it can be memorizable. Okay, it should not be like you are writing a title about 2 to 3 sentences altogether, and nothing is coming out. The title has to be very crisp, and that's it. In a speaks in simple word, exactly your proof of concept. Like you can, a reader can get a little bit of gist of the idea from there. So it should not spend, and while pitching also, you should not spend much time on your time that you are talking about your title, not more than 30 seconds. Okay. So few examples of the titles for how it should be. So when we're talking about this, point of care, point of care device for the kidney function testing. For example, there's a that's a example of a title. So we need to talk about what are the key features of it to demonstrate the proof of concept for a point of care kidney function testing device that can. These are the points. Like you are mentioning, you are going to develop a point of care device, and what are the things you are going to measure the kidney function testing and all. Okay, so that has to be mentioned. Like accurately, it can accurately measure the serum creatinine from a finger pricking sample. These are the demo text. The next example is much more clearer for you, like the ragi-based ready-to-serve food for pediatric nutrition. If you read this title, you would be able to get that idea that it is a proposal formulation of a special type of baby food for different age groups using ragi as a prime substrate in a comparatively affordable price. It means you will be able to, like, what is the problem? For it to hide it, malnutrition and diarrhea among children who are in a rural setting have having some problems and all. After that, this is a problem, and you are targeting. You are trying to get for the baby food for them. Okay, so you got the problem statement in your title, ragi based ready to serve food for pediatric nutrition. It means it is for the baby, malnourished baby, and what is your solution giving? This is ragi based ready to serve food. So this is how we would be able to answer in a title as well, that reader would be getting a clear idea about it. Then the next part is the problem statement. While talking about the problem statement, you need to consider that like the problem you're when it's speaking about, it has to be a genuine problem that is really existing. Okay, it should not be like your personal problem that you have faced for. There should be a genuine problem that is a overall in a bigger size. You have to give about. You have to emphasize on that the process that you are talking about. Sometimes what happened, like it should not be the problem you are talking about and the solution you'll be giving. It should be connected. It should not be in a diverted one. So for making a problem statement, you need to give a brief background about it. So what are the relevant figures or the statistics? What is the genuine? But you would be able to, in a literature survey, you would be able to get a number. If the problem is really persisting in the world, in a global scenario, in an Indian scenario, in a national scenario, you can put that. You would be able to get some data, some statistics. Okay, so you put that. Do not make the problem sound too large or too ambitious to complete within 50 lakhs. Like, for example, I want to eradicate the cancer from the world or from India. It is not possible to do within this 50 lakhs. So do not seem to be or creating this kind of statement during your proposal writing as well as pitch deck proposing. For another example is while talking about the problem statement, try to get about uh, in general what happened. If there is a problem persisting since long time, there could be many other solution or the processes, conventional technologies available. So you need to think about what is the difference, what is the loophole or the lacunas in the existing technologies, rather than talking about the direct problem. For example, I'm giving you for this cancer, as I told. Okay, so while you are developing a cancer curing technology, the diagnosis kit or cancer diagnostic in a platform, do not talk about too much about the cancer as a problem, because that is not, cancer is there, that problem will be there, testing. But main thing is, what is the lacuna in the existing technologies? What are the available conventional technologies are there which are not able to fulfill the requirements? What is not up to the mark? What is not compatible with the patients or the, so where that is a lacuna, that is the main problem, and how we are going to solve it, that would be your connection. So you need to think about that while pitching, or and also while writing about your problem statement. Okay, the examples just a minute. Yeah. So, for example, this, if you are proposing an affordable and intuitive prosthetic for an upper limb amputees, so the problems you can mention about that, like effective cost, uncomfortable to wear, non all which are existing technology, those are effective excessive costs. Okay, now uncomfortable. That's a non-intuitive use. One size fits to all industry. So the problem outcome it is coming like you have to mention about that it's a highly dependent one. The amputees are there who are highly dependent one. Then there's a low self-esteem, unemployability. This can be a points you need to you can consider or you can highlight. Being physically disability. This is the example. These are the example I'm just giving. So while mentioning about you can highlight all these key points. Okay. And another thing, while talking about the problem, if you are going to go for a like medical devices, or if you're going for a the prosthetic limbs or whatever it is, there would be a scenario problem interaction, like with the doctors or the clinicians or the patients. So they are the person who are really suffering from that. Okay, so they would be the perfect person to talk about what is the actual problem they are facing with. So you would be able to get the key points. So you can mention about from the user perspective. You can talk about from the clinician's perspective. What is the problem statement actually? So you can highlight those points. Now, when you talk about the solution problem statement, now you come with your solution part, where you need to discuss about the solution that problem we have already proposed, not the other problem. Okay, so what is the invention actually? When talking about the solution, you need to talk about the how does it work? What is the working principle of it? What is the what are the uniqueness of your idea of a solution? How it is better than existing solutions or existing technologies, and how it is connecting with the solving the problem that you just mentioned now. Okay, so is there any prior art available to this? If it is not, then you mention. If it is there, then how better your technology is, that has to be highlighted. And what are the advantages? Because for example, if I'm mentioning differences are creating functional improvements, then include the advantages like better performance, low cost, faster, more efficient, effective or not, user friendly or capabilities that you have to mention. And finally, how these attributes translate into economic benefits, because when you're talking about the solution, as completely mentioned initially also, that it has to be commercialized driven. Commercial point of view has to be given. So when talking about the solution, you give a commercial point of view that it is commercially or benefited, economic benefits are there. For example, when talking about the solutions, see, one is one of the proposed solution over here. This is the belt that has been wear for posture correction, for skeletal muscles and as well as the spine. So you need to talk about proposed solution. This unique point that's underwearable. Okay, can be worn undergarments. To the point, correctly support. It's efficient, ease for the spine by the loading up to 50%. It is affordable because you talk about the price, the cost economics, as I mentioned. It has to be, it's a lightweight. Weight of the helmet is very less. That unpowered, unhindered, the fully configurable, customizable, and patent protected. So while talking about the solution, you should give these points briefly. Points, bullet points. That it gives a reader and the experts also clear indication about what are the unique feature of your solution, why it is important, what is the cost economics of it, cost benefits of it. Okay, what would be the unmet need? It's clearly understandable because it's standing out based on its uniqueness and the features that has to be mentioned. If your technical or your innovation is having any technological intervention, then you need to talk about their technical specifications. Sometimes experts really get into the science behind that. Okay, technical things, because it's like from BBT, biotechnology innovation grant. It's all about innovative science and technology. Like science should be there. Then that technical specification, if you have done something, that all the details should be given while proposing. Okay, so now we talk about the methods, like, is it novel? You need to talk about that. Has it already been used? What are the research or expert opinion of your experience? A list of the facilities and the capital equipment that will be used in the project, the milestone. These are the few points that you have to mention. Now, while talking about the solution, then you need to talk about how it works, because you already mentioned about what is your solution. But people should be knowing, or the readers should, or the experts should be, who are evaluating, they should be aware of that. What is the working principle? What is the underpinning technology? What is the science behind it is working? So explain the technology and whether it's safety to use or no issues, the affordability of the product. Please provide all the details, the experimental conditions. If you have worked on some processes, then you need to talk about what are the parameters that you have considered and how it behaves in different parameters. The technical terms you have to use over here, and what is the scientific principle in which basis it is working. That basic thing has to be given. These are the 3 points: how it works, product features, and product process. How it works. So the process of the flow chart that has to be given during this working principle the explanation. Now the next important part is a team. While you're talking about the team, it means that you have to consider, because it certainly contains a really valid points or the marks for this team. It shows the efficiency or the credibility of your team for the BIG application of your proposed idea that you could be able to carry forward during these 18 months. So your team slide will be given very much priority. Okay, strength of the PI and the team are really important. Your team should be well rounded with the people competing skill sets, strategies to cover like missing technical or business expertise. You need to have a business mentor, technical part, and technically who will be doing the experiments, who will be doing the prototype development or developmental part. So you have to have if you have a medical device, then clinicians are really important. That clinical advisors should be there. And while talking about the team, do not take you need to highlight the team members designation, their expertise, which field and how they would be able to help you. One thing to remember, try to understand that if you are making a team, it doesn't mean that you are taking only your known people who doesn't have the similar background or not. It has to be competing skill sets has to be there. They should be synergistic application, the approach towards developing this prototype, because they should be having similar kind of skill sets to help you out, that their role would be really important. And so in terms of team formation, if you have any letter from the advisor, if you're having any supporting evidences from the collaborators and all, please do provide that during the proposal, and in case of application format as well as in your this presentation template. Now, after when you talk about the team, now you have to talk about the novelty aspect. So in that novelty aspect, you need to talk about like what are the uniqueness. As all of you know, what are the novel things in your proposed idea? Because while you are proposing, you might have seen that how it is better, why it is better. Those questions has been already done. So what portion of the product can be attributed to the novelty? Sometimes what happens that there are many existing technology you have been inspired from. Okay, so you have developed a technology, but a little bit of part of it of your integrated technology is something different. That is something different. In that sense, you need to highlight that particular product, that particular portion of as a novelty part. Okay, that can be also done. If your idea is to develop platform technology, then mention possible application in other fields or its integration into other existing or envisaged products. That has to be highlighted. While talking about the novelty, these are the few points like you will be making talking about the specification. You can talk about the efficiency, in terms of efficiency, in terms of the power consumption. These are the few example of talking about the how it would be novel. Cost, one of the more important thing down these days, it has been considered that the cost of your product. Sometimes what happen if you're making a make in India product, that is important. Some product is available or the technology that's already available in the global market, but it's too costly to export or import to India. Okay, so in that sense, if you're making India process, like you were completely from the scratch, you are making that product in the India, then the cost is reducing. That is the novel part. And these few years, the experts are really appreciate that if you're having this make in India products, and if you're pitching for the low cost thing and all, the cost effective is a much more appreciated thing for as per in the novelty aspect as well. So after that, you need to talk about the competition. So competitive landscape or the competitive advantages also I'll be discussing. So in that, if you're having, I know, 2 to 3 or other products already existing in the market, now you need to talk about what are the differentiator of it, what is the edge. Like for example, if you're making a helmet like hand gloves for AI VR thing, then your gloves, how it is different. Like for accurate assistance, it will be able to assessment will be able to give fast and simple calibration, quick responses. Then the virtual reality will be added. So all these cutting edge points or the key points, bullet points, has to be mentioned. Then after that, value proposition. In the value proposition, you need to talk about what is the USP, unique selling proposition or unique selling points. And in the aspect, for example, if you're going for a product for the medical device or the medical range or the healthcare sector, so in that, what would be the value proposition for the doctors? Because the product can be for both. Doctor can be selling, or doctor can be commercialized, or prescribed for the patients also, and or doctors can use, and as well as the patients who would be directly using your solution or your product. So in that both of the aspect you need to be very considering, or you need to point out all these things, like for doctors what are the unique points, and also for the patients what are the unique points it is going to help. For example, here the user-friendly product providing dual advantage of improved retention and Crohn's palsy. This is a kind of share time, or this is a posture correction. One example I mentioned about, for that only, that can be really highlighted in both of the aspects, for the doctors as well as for the patients. Uh, After this value proposition, now you need to talk about the feasibility. Novelty you talk about, competition you talked about, value proposition you talked about. Now you need to talk about the feasibility. In that feasibility, you need to mention the important points to highlight, like why it is possible, feasible. If you are proposing an idea, why you think that it will be feasible. So you need to talk about, if you have done any preliminary work, that has to be showcased. That has to be detailedly given over there. Okay, you have generated some data, lab scale data, would be also fine, because it shows that you have done some work and it is feasible. It got some positive results and it is working. And that analysis, the specificity analysis has been done. It is non-toxic one. For example, any in any kind of toxic material if you're assessing with, then raw resources material is readily available. Okay, and the cost economics, like it's a very cheap, like the process is very cheap. You are not going to make or input too much of money for that. So these many things, these many parameters things make this your idea is a little bit feasible. So that has to be well conveyed. Okay, so you can take this parameter, like a readily available electronic components for any kind of device, easy to manufacture, highly scalable, easy distribution through pharmacy and clinicians. Synthesis, another, like synthesis is easily can be done in 1 to 2 hours. Like if these points you can only get if you have done preliminary basis. Even if you have not done, see, it's like an ideation POC. You might be thinking like, yeah, I have not done anything in a previous basis, but during the ideation stage, you might have gone for the literature survey, literature review has been done. So many news, like articles, research articles you have gone through, from the experiments results you have got. So show that you have to talk about that. You need to highlight those points that is this process can be done. This process can be is feasible because people have done it. They are approved. So that shows the feasibility of your proposed idea. That has to be given. Then you need to talk about the IP. So you need to remember that for the Birac BIG, one of the major mandate is that formation of a company, that is important. And during this BIG's IP is important, because Make in India, the government is really looking for that, how this Make in India gets successful and more IP, or the intellectual properties could be generated. So that's why these programs really helps, and they also look for this. So IP is one of the major component of your proposed idea. So if you're already working with that project, and if you have a little bit of similar project and some components are similar, and you have already patented something or in a process, that you can mention. And other than that, what are the patentability thing that you are going to achieve during this VI's tenure, that has have to be mentioned also. Okay, so what are the patent component on in your process, on in your project. So that has to, potential patents you are going to get, that has to be mentioned. Okay. Another thing is very important, that you need to check whether the FTO, freedom to operate, where it means that if you're going to use some technology, you're going to use some technology, and that is, commercial, it's safe for you to make you sell the product. Like if you're taking some other technology from other already patented, safe, or already patent the technology, and you are using a little bit of component, they need to see whether you have that freedom to operate or not. You should not be any legal compliances regarding this, patentability thing, that has to be very. Then after the patent, you need to talk about the competitive landscape analysis, where you need to mention about that. Competitive landscape means what are the existing technology already available in the market. It can be you can talk about different companies and their product with similar functionality. For example, if you are going for making a like wheelchair, for example, so what are the other companies who are making in India as well as in global market, who are making this wheelchair kind of thing. Okay, now after that competitive landscape, you need to mention about what are the advantage of you, what is the different part of your technology. Sometimes you need to remember that only differentiating would not be a major case. Okay, that will be giving you a win-win proposal or win-win situation, because it's not only about the differentiator, it's about how better your technology is. What are the advantages? What are the different part you need to, or key highlights or unique features that you need to mention? So that is that you need to consider. For example, this table you can consider for your application as well as for the pitch deck preparation. You see, in this you can note it down like in the row you need to mention about the features or the different companies X, Y, Z, and your prototype of your company. And in the column you need to mention about, you can mention about the what are the parameters. It can be a cost, it can be a rapid time or the time sensitivity one. Okay, it can be like efficiency, it can be affordability, easily accessibility, it can be for other parameters. Okay, you mention all those and you compare, you write about that. Yes, you can use yes, no, tick, or the specific points or the specificity, specific numbers you can mention about in case of any kind of for this cost, for example. That has to be mentioned, like the propose already existing technology having a high cost, but you're proposing proposed technology or proposed that device would be having a lower cost. So that has to be highlighted. So this is how you would be mentioning the competitive landscape. Then another part is like stability product differentiation, where you need to mention about the conventional techniques what are available, and based to compare to that how your proposed technology is better. So that has to be given clearly. Okay. But last now one of the most important part, that's the business model. So you need to be very clear about what is your business strategy, how it would be, market potential is there or not. Okay, so that study has to be done. So you need to study a little bit about that. What is the market need? What is the opportunity on the market? Okay, unmet need is there or not? Market size, actually, if you talk about you're making some product like for a drink kind of thing, so what is the global market for that? Comparatively, you can find similar drinks. They would be publishing in their site website or in overall Google. You would be able to get that total statistics that this is the market size. It is a 1 billion, 2 billion, something like that. For example, market size, total addressable market, TAM, SAM. Those analysis has to be done. That has to be highlighted. Okay, so and after that, who is your target market segment? Like who would be your customers? That customer segmentation has to be very clearly defined, whether it would be your patients directly, and whether your customers, like you need to mention about three categories mainly, whether your business would be a business to business, B2B, whether it's a business to C, whether B2G is a business to government, okay, directly. So it is like you need to be very clear about your technology, how we are going to sell it, how where you are going to sell it, who would be your target customer, what would be the segment, and if it is possible, then try to give a cost economic analysis. I know sometimes if you're in a nation stage, because it helps, I did BIG supports from ideation to prototype level, you may not have that complete cost economic analysis, but overall, if you are like achieved with alpha prototype kind of thing, or initial level, some data has been generated, or some devices has been prepared or alpha prototype as a level, so you might be having an idea, rough estimation of the cost economics, what will the cost involved in it. So if you're proposing, this should not be a random number. Okay, you need to mention about the why this is incorporated, that cost thing. This is a part. So that has to mention if you are mentioning. Okay, so this is how you'll be able to provide the business model. You need to talk about the total market size. You need to talk about that what would be the category of your business, business to B2B, B2C, B2G kind of thing. Then who would be who you are selling it? So who will be a target customer? What is the segment? These are the things you need to mention about. For example, over here, so market segmentation, you can mention like this: it will be can be hospitals for sport rehabilitation, stroke patients, academies, gaming section, hospitals, research institutes, kind of thing. These are the segments, and you need to mention about in the business model slides. You can mention about the revenue model. So if you're thinking about like how we are going to generate the revenue, it can be like you need to mention whether you are going to sell the product directly or you are going to give the services. For example, if you are making a drone kind of thing, okay, for agricultural purpose, for land spraying and all. So in that aspect, you it could be a like directly customer if you want to sell, that is B2C, and you can provide as a service model where you would be taking hectares of land as a rent for as a charge for 1 or 2 days, something like that, or hourly basis, that you will be spraying this disinfectant or this pest and all these chemicals and all. So based on that, you can charge a service model. So these are the two categories you need to talk about. Revenue model, you must be having a little bit of idea. If you have, you can give that how much it is going to cost, then how we are going to generate the revenue throughout the month, then throughout the year. So all these details can be given if it is there. If it is given, then you have a clear picture of your idea. That is good. So these are the another examples of the business model. I would also suggest you all to, while proposing or while pitch deck preparation, you can go for the business lean canvas model in the Google. You can download that format of the template, business lean canvas model. Okay, business lean canvas model. You can download that and you can fill up all the points into that so that it will be easy for you to fill up to in that format. Then questions been asked. You need to just answer them. You need to put that values and the points. Then it will be a complete table. Would be representing a complete structure or complete picture of your business strategy. So one more thing, if you're having collaborations, so the preliminary work, idea work has been done, and few collaborators have shown their interest, then put their logos, put their name into it. And if they have there's in an email exchange, you had already talked, you had already a letter, then you put all the details as well. It helps. So after completing this business model, all this is, now you need to talk about the roadmap. How you're going to go for the journey? How far you have came? What was the journey you have already crossed, and how we are planning for the next 3 to 5 years? That has to be given. So we generally suggest to grantees or the applicants to divide into three different parts. That is a pre-BIG, during BIG, and the post-BIG part. Okay, so it means very clear. Like if you're segmenting it in three different parts, like pre-BIG means still now, what are the things that has been done before this 18 months of the BIG? Before that, homework has been done, how much preliminary study has been generated, and what was the timeline. So you can mention point wise, 1, 2, 3, 4, and what are the things that has been done. Now in this middle part, that is a during BIG, what are the things that you are going to achieve during BIG? It is very important because Birac would love to know that during these 18 months, what are the things you have planned for, what are the objectives, what are the milestones that is specific for your product or the project. So that has to be mentioned clearly. Okay, within this 18 months, that is during BIG run. And after that, post BIG, excuse me, that you need to mention about the remaining steps that is needed after the BIG run for bringing to the market. It can be a product validation, it can be clinical trials, it can be investment like MVP production, like a minimal viable product ready for that. It can be a certifications, it can be so investment or the follow up funding. So all these things has to be mentioned in the post BIG, like after completing the BIG, how we are planning. So by that, people would really love to see that how we have planned beautifully your project timeline and how we're going to approach it. So if you're an individual applicant, you can need to clearly highlight that currently you are in the process of forming a startup, and probably within 2 to 3 months or 1 month, probably formalities will be completed. And the committee might like to know that whether your institute promotes faculty entrepreneurship or not. If you are on faculty, that's a specific one. Okay, so if you are applying for an individual, as I mentioned initially, Birac looks for the individual to company formation, the IP one. So for this individual to company formation, in that roadmap during BIG, you must highlight. Okay. So there's a few example of that how the roadmap should look. 2000, you can give it a yearly basis. Then you divide it first three segment: pre-BIG, during BIG, post-BIG. And the pre-BIG, you mentioned about the timeline of the year. During BIG, if you are applying for this call, it means like from September you will be starting. Okay, from September, October, it will be like that. You have to give the period from 2030, 23 to 24, 25. Then after that, till 3 more years, how we are going, that is post BIG. So you divide it accordingly. So these are the another example how you can go for this product commercialization strategy after post BIG. These are the points. You can take a snapshot or photo for these points. This is product roadmap, another example of that. These are the objectives. Now, another part is you have to mention about the objectives and milestones. So this is also one of the important part in your application process. You have to be very specific about your objectives that you are proposing. It should be what you are proposing, proposed idea. Based on that, you have to plan your objectives, and objectives are the core experiments. Like we know that we have to do this. These are the experiments. These are the things. That is the objectives, and milestones are what gives you quantifiable results that are envisaging for the research objectives. So milestones are like one achievement during your objective that has been done. For example, if you want to make a chicken curry, so for that making the chicken curry objectives, like you need to need to go to the market, you need to buy the chicken, you need to wash it, you need to rinse it, you need to marinate it, you need to go for this like cooking and all. So in those, these are the small objectives, and the milestone would be when you see that marination has been done. One objective milestone completed. Second objective is second milestone would be the chicken has been cooked. It's tender. It's cooked. That's a like milestone. That is a quantifiable one. Okay. And third is when you're eating. So for example, these are the milestone that is the quantifiable results you are getting. And objectives are the specific. You need to write about all the objectives. What are the experimentation will be done, that has to be mentioned. So for these 18 months, every month wise, you need to write about those. Okay. Objective wise, with due to this 2 to 3 months gap, how we are going to do and what are the things you have been planning, that has to be clearly mentioned. Okay, all the technical details has to be mentioned. Specifically, what you're going to do not write overall strings. This will be developed. Chicken curry would be prepared. Do not write like that. What are the steps are there in the objectives? What are the things you are going to mention? That has to be mentioned clearly, specifically. Okay. So these are the, for example, like milestone 1, 2, 3. What are the key deliverables and the key results area? What are you expecting and what are the time frame or the time period you are looking into it? That has to be mentioned. Okay. Again, another example is the milestones. What objective you mentioned with elaborately complete experimentation planning and all. In the milestone, you need to talk about what is the quantifiable outcomes that you're going to get from 0 to 18 months. Every 0 to 8 months, 8 to 10 months, 10 to 12 months, 12 to 14, 14 to 16, 16 to 18. In those, what are the things you are going to get that you have to mention? So now backup or supporting evidence that you need to mention. That is a Gantt chart. You need to mention Gantt chart. I will show you how we do it. Then budget in the total 50 lakhs. Do not exceed more than 50 lakhs. Within that lakhs you can plan. There are some heads are there, the budget heads that will you get in the format. Based on the format head, and every format has budget head has their any budget limit. Then based on that you need to propose. Okay. So and you can share if you have any grants so far or not, if you have any Birac other funding journeys. For example, by if you are a Birac SIP fellow, social innovation fellow, and you have already got it Birac support, now you're trying to get those ideas to commercialize or product developmental level for this BIG call. They'll be very happy. It means they have supported a idea very in action stage and they're going to promote it. So that is very important. So this is the example for the work plan, the Gantt chart, how we would be preparing. So in the first column, you need to mention about all the tasks for the months. In the first row, you need to mention about all the month from 1 to 18 months details. Then you can plan it accordingly for the Gantt chart. Budget, in the budget, you need to equipment is there, manpower is there, consumable is there, incubation space, rental space, travel, outsource services, IP, and contingency. Equipment, you can mention the maximum 30% of the project cost. If you're mentioning manpower, is also maximum 30%. Consumable, it is flexible, not to be justified how much you want. Okay, for the travel, maximum 1.5 lakhs. You can incubation and rental, you can it has to be kept within 7 lakhs. Then outsource all these things, it can be 30% of the project cost maximum. IP, you can keep 1 to 1.2 or 1.5 maximum, and the contingency should not be exceeding 5%. Okay. So another next is like review a concern. So during final proposition, final presentation, you need to mention about if you already have a concern raised by the online review that you can mention. After that, you what are the changes that has been done already. This is very important. If you're selected for the TP round, then they will be asking you about what are the online review concern you have already got, and what are the things that have made change? Have you worked on that or not? Have you considered or not? This is very important. So you need to give your reply or comments on that. And if you're applying for the first time, you can skip this part. And if you are not applying for the first time, last time you have applied and you have got some comments, or whether it's a TP comments or whether it has online review comments, then you can mention about the comments. Then based on that, how you have modified your project for proposed idea and you have applied for this, that has to be highlighted. It shows that you have worked on it already, you are achieved one step ahead. Okay, so that has to be mentioned clearly. So thank you very much. We as a KTBI were trying to create an impactful and innovative and successful enterprise. I think I was able to talk about what are the major components of the BIG presentation and how to make the pitch deck. After this also we have few more sessions to talk about what will be the application process, okay, and how we are going to fill it. So that and what are the KTBI as a BIG partner is going to offer, that will be in detail. We'll be having sessions. So is there any questions that is, I really welcome all the questions to be asked.
Dr. Bhaskar, we have few questions in the chat box already. Can you please take them one by one?
Okay, just a minute.
We have the first question from Siva Balan, sir. How to choose BIG partner and associate partner, sir? Shall we have to ask them before we choose?
Yeah, for the terms of application process, you initially do not need to choose the associated partner in the BIG portal, because I'll be showing you how to choose that. In that, only BIG partner would be there as a KTBI. Then when proposing the idea where you need to be incubated, you need to mention about your incubated associated partner. Okay, that is important while filling up the application process. Okay, in that initial segment, you need to choose one partner, BIG partner, that would be KTPA. And while detailed application process would be there, while you are like giving all the details incubated at, that you need to mention as your incubation or associate partner where you are incubated now. Okay.
Uh, there are a few questions. Another question like from Siva Balan, sir only. My team member is doing his PG degree. Is that violating the eligibility, and is it necessary to get NOC from institution?
So first question answer, sir. Like if your team member is doing a PG, there is no like there's no fault in that. It comes under eligibility. Whether the PI who is applying, okay, if he is a graduate already completed and is like working as a researcher, scientist, engineer, whoever, that is fine. So that would not be violating the eligibility criteria. And if you are working in an organization where they promote that entrepreneurship, these facilities and all, while applying, if you are faculty, for example, if you are applying to that, then in no way NOC would be requested from the institution. Okay. During the application process, also if it is not possible to provide you, because sometimes the time gets shortened up and applicant do not get much time. So in that, we would be requesting you to give undertaking. Well, the format will be shared from our side. Ms. Adrija will be sharing. Okay. So in that, while applying, you can mention about that. We will be submitting in a later verse. So if you get selected for the next round, then we will be for sure will be asking later words. Okay. Okay, please pass app information for business model. Okay, is there any size of the file and format of the document that need to be uploaded during the application process? Sorry, I missed that. Okay, just a minute. Yeah. Is there any size of the file, the format of the document that need to be uploaded during the application process for Birac BIG? Yes, the file size is mandated. While scrolling through the application process, we'll be able to see it's not too much difficult. We would be able to easily zip it or not zip it. You can reduce the size in the online platform. It is easy to do. Okay. And for the business model, you can go for the business lean canvas model. You can download the format in Google. You can go for the Google images. You would be able to find that easily. Business link canvas model. Okay. Really nice presentation. Thank you. What is the average score to get selected from the BIG scheme from Ajit Kumar Pillai? So there is no completely, that's average score is very dynamic, and every time for every thematic area there is the for as I mentioned about the five different thematic areas. So for five different thematic areas, that cutoff score would be a little different. Okay, every time. So we need to think about, so based on the thematic area, how it is going to be different. If you're getting the above the average cutoff score, then you will be selected for the next one. So there's no fixed one. So yes, as an academicians of researcher, we are doing research, but for commercialization of the product, how for bio and incubation partner helps. Okay, so this question is from Sam Kumar Rajana. So this is a nice question because you are an academician, you are doing also working on a research part. Okay, so if you really think it has a commercial potential of a particular research, then you must apply for this BIG buyback. They will be giving you 50 lakhs rupees, as I told, and BIG partner would be giving you opportunity to prototype development facility. For example, if you're working on a you know, on a process of industrial biotechnology, for example, you are making biofuel from algae. Okay, so you have been doing some research and all, you got the parameters and all. Now, BIDAC partner, BIG partner would be able to help you facilitating. First of all, BIDAC would be giving you the money because 50 lakhs within that you can purchase some equipments. So for that biofuel production from the algae, this is an example. So you can make a reactor setup, okay, with that money, and from there you can get the outcome. Okay, and even along with that, in the BIG, if you want to incubate or directly physically incubate with the BIG partner, you can, we as a BIG partner would be giving you all the facilities or the analytical facilities or the space, office space, lab space, where you would be able to develop your product. You can purchase those equipment, keep it over here, you work on the experimentations, and you get the results. Okay, and then if it is having benefits and if you're showing good results, then slowly for other, like you will be getting some follow-up funding. You need validation, it will be done. If you need some certification, that will be facilitated. If you want from patenting facility, the patent attorneys will be helping you through this ecosystem, and biodac would be for the next. This is the BIG. Next, after this, you will be getting other CBD funding and all those follow funding. This is how it would be helping you slowly, point wise. Okay. Okay, generally, how much? Another question from Ajit Kumar Palai, that generally how much the sector for drugs, it would be really less, like 60 something like that. For agriculture, IBT, it would be like 70 75. So it's very dynamic. Okay. Shall we need to get quotation from industries for the budget justification, or shall we put approximate numbers? It would be better if we can get some quotations for the equipments and all. For initial basis, it is fine to get the numbers, but it is always suggested to get some quotations from the industries beforehand because you would be having some time. Okay, because 16th August to the last date, you can get that. So yeah, next question from Tapas Mandal. My question is that we are a team of 13 members, including our advisors. Should we mention all of our team members in the pitch deck, or only the mentioning the core team members is sufficient? I would suggest if you can mention all 13, you can make two slides, but emphasize more on the core members first. Okay, it shows good thing that you all have a strong team. It's always, as I mentioned, that team member is very important. If you have a strong team, it shows that you have the credential and the potential is also there. So it's better you provide and get all the you give all the details, but while speaking or while fetching, you focus on specifically for the core members. Okay. And as as mentioned also, like that segregation is very important, that you need to mention about the who are the advisor, who are the technical members, as I mentioned during my with the clinicians. So those things has to be mentioned also. And explain with my answers. Right. Okay. Is there any other questions, or did I miss anything, Rija?
There is a question just now from Mr. Pradeep. My project is related to water treatment. Is that eligible?
Yeah, it is. It would be eligible. As I mentioned in the industrial biotechnology or the environmental is there, so it would be possible. Yes.
Mr. Ajit is asking, is there any funding being facilitated for the commercialization aspect during or post BID scheme?
Yeah, there are other funding opportunities from Birac as well. As I mentioned, if you have faculty, there's a PACE program is there. There's a SIBRI program is there. Okay, so these are the funding follow funding opportunities from the Birac. They help for the commercialization aspect as well. SIBRI would be the perfect one after this BI.
Dr. Bhaskar, there are a few questions still coming in the chat box. Can you please take them? Like
Yeah.
Mr. Sivabalan had asked in the proposal,
Okay.
shall we need to disclose the key processes, sir, like key component responsible for the project, or we should disclose in the later stages?
No, it is better always because the buyer from buyer the proposal goes to the experts. All generally signs that NDA, non-disclosure agreements and all. So what we generally suggest, even if it is already patented about your technology, then it is really good to showcase the key points because till the time you are not showcasing the key points of that or the key parameters, you can, if, for example, if you have 10 key points, you can mention 8, you can keep secret 2, but it should not be like you are not talking at all regarding your application process while you're mentioning. Okay, it would not help the experts to understand better what are the unique features of it, or what are the really valuable components of your proposed idea. So it should be better if you are trying to disclose this later, in a later stages, then what if you're not being selected for this online platform or the online review panel or the first section only? Okay, so it's always better play safe. Have to mention most of the component in a such a way so that it shows or that highlighting the key or valuable points or the uniqueness of your proposed idea. Then after that, while during the pitch, you can talk about all, because we generally suggest. I know some people do hesitate, but you can talk about it because non-disclosure agreement signing and all generally being done from the Birac side to all to us or every expert. Yeah.
Anyone having any other queries apart from the ones being addressed, you all are free to unmute yourself and ask the queries. Uh, I'm sharing the link to generate the letter of intent from KitTVI.
Yeah.
So you all can look into that. Click on the link and please fill up so that you can get the letter of intent from us and can go ahead with the process of application.
So before going to the application process, also we will be talking about two different sessions. Now I would not be taking too much time because it's almost 1 hour. First, I'll talk about a little bit about Kitty Bay offerings. Kitty Bay, what Kitty Bay as a BIG partner is going to give him. Another is the application process. I think it would not be taking too much time, but it would be really helpful for all of you who are going to, start the application process. And in between, I would like to request Adrija, can you just give all the details to the chat box also? Email ID, phone numbers,
Yes, definitely. I'll
meeting
keep
and
on
all that.
giving
Yeah.
them in the chat box.
Yeah, thank you. So I'll start with my next session, that is that Kitty Bay offerings, how Kitty BI as a BIG partner would be able to help. My screen is visible to everyone.
Yes, it is visible.
Yeah. So, as I already mentioned during my presentation, that's what are the benefits to the choosing KTB as a BIG partner that I'm going to mention now. We have been, it's more than 10 years, like more than 10 years, it's like it's an old slide. Sorry to say that it will be more than 13 years that the KTB has been existing. And we have been trying to serve all the needy startups or the innovative ideas. We have been blessed to be a part with different funding agencies like DST, DBT, okay, the METI, IDEX. They have been supporting us for nurturing the startups and for helping the startups. So let you just give you a brief details about the understanding what are the support system we generally would be able to provide. That's a 360-degree support system where you would be, if you are choosing as a KTB as a BIG partner. So these are the things you are going to get after post onboarding. That's the access to the KTB prototyping and co-working facilities. You would be able to get an ecosystem connects. You would be able to get that legal licensing and other supports, fundraising, if you want to go for a different follow funding and all, even we will be helping you for the CBRI applications as well, hand holding you completely. Like for this BIG, we are going to do it for you. And then after that, like the investment round and all, investor will be connecting you to the investors who are ready with it and it would be able to try to help you. And then post program engagements. What are the, after the getting into the involved, what are the different programs we would be able to try to engage you. Business mentorship would be our business leaders and experts are there, would be able to try your one-to-one interactions, able to be able to help you to build up the strategy. The technological mentorship, we will be assigning you the technical mentor who will be not only evaluating progress and all, they'll be able to assign anchor mentors. They will work as anchor mentor, will be able to give their technical insights and will be able to help. Then customer access would be also trying to give you the platform where you will be able to sell your products. So it's all about 360-degree support system that we're going to help. So you are anchored over here, as I mentioned, for the business, it would be able to give you the commercialization strategy, market analysis, the product marketing, how to build up the brand, investor and pitch deck preparation, all these things. Domain specific mentoring would be able to give you, if you're having a technological mentorship, would be giving you the expert, the risk and challenges in the mitigation, and the product development, scalability, how we are going to do that. And then, the validation and the clinical trials will be assisting for that as well. And the functional as well, the finance, term sheet, legal, corporate affairs, operators, HR, all the work will be done through us and will be assisting in each and every step. So how Kitty Bear at work will be trying to develop, pre-onboarding that selection covers the protocols that are mandatory for the due diligence, the technicals and final financial documents will be seen if you get selected for the, for example, if you got selected for the BIG. Now, after that, pre-onboarding, if that things would be done for the due diligence, would be completely covered. Like what are the financial documents, what are the legal compliance and legal documents are there, signing of the MOU, agreements and the formalities will be done from the TBI side. Completely would be helping you. Then the launch that strategy and how we are going to team building, know your program value propositions, key offerings, what we're going to get. All these things would be helped by the KTBI execute and develop the prototype development, charting, and the roadmap journey. How to, if you need a mentoring support, this is during the process. The pitching sessions, investors, how to build up, how to like polish you or the polish for your project that will be able to help you. Even if it is not physically incubating over here, because that's not mandatory, we would be working as a BIG partner, but whenever you are physically hosted by a host incubator, we would be associated with you, would be trying to help you, will be giving you all the support from our side as well. Okay, then post BIG grant after also step 4, where we will be able to help you that, you completely when you graduate from the BIG scheme, then we will go for this follow funding, that SIPS fund, LIP fund, SIPRI fund, BIPP. Okay, this private funding. So all these things would be given you as an opportunity to leverage your this BIG innovative idea. So we have done fabrication lab. These are the like few labs we have in general. We have a detailed structure as well, like digital fabrication lab, Prayashala. We have Binest Lab, the cell culture, bioprocess analytical facilities, Niti COA, digital health. And now only in the last year we have been recognized as Center of Excellence for the digital health from the DST. And then we have this all the analytical facilities, Fab Lab. You want to go for a device preparation, we have all the bioprinters, cutting edge technologies. Who the designers are there would be able to help you. Food testing lab, testing labs. Not only food, we have this water testing lab with the microbiology testing lab. We have all the under bioprocess, industrial biotechnology, all these labs are there, would be able to try to help you out. So these are the impacts so far. The total grant sanction would be a little bit higher because I haven't added the last two calls, so it would be almost more than 165 around that we have been got. And we have considered, you can see that it's not only being in Odisha and the Bhubaneswar, not only are covering the eastern region, northeastern region, we are around the all over the India and India. We have been trying to get all the supporting, all the incubation, all the innovative ideas or the startups or the researchers. Okay, then you can see that these are the results or different sector wise the startups we have now, where we have much more strong in healthcare devices as well, drugs in agriculture as well as in industrial biotechnology. So we are working as this all the sectors or five as mentioned in the BIG to help you out. So these are the three glimpses of the facilities. We have this shared space, lab spaces, detailed lab spaces, dedicated ones, these conferences, meeting room, which are all 24 into 7 available for the startups, for the incubators. And these are the different, like few glimpses of the digital fabrication lab, digital health lab, R&D labs where we have LCMS, GCMS, HPLC, quad core. This we have a greenhouse facility as well. We have bioreactors, automated ones, FTI, you name it, we'll be having it. PCR, RT-PCRs. So all these facilities would be able to get it for free for if you're incubating with the choosing as a BIG as a kit TBI partner. This is enabler C. This is the old one picture. I have the new one. I have forgot to add it over here. So thank you very much. I think you got a little bit of glimpses of what Kittywear is going to offer you. I haven't taken too much of time to talk about as you already know, you can search in the Google as well. Recently, from the Bispectrum, Kittywear has got one of the best bio incubator in India, leading position. So it doesn't say need to give you much more details about that, but we are always humble to try to help the startups or the innovators who are ready to get help from us. And this time also, every time we are doing it, but this time specifically we are trying to give more hand holding during the project, during the process of applications, where we have a registration link. I would like to request Adrija to also give the link over here for specifically hand holding who need it actually. And we are requesting for every startup or the applicants to give their proof of concept if it's possible, so that we would be able to give you the feedbacks from our side. So what are the changes you have to do before apply application process? So that would be really helpful for you. You can register over there so that every day, whenever you are required any help till 16th of August for the application, we would be able to help you out. Next, I will be showing. Is there any question about that regarding the role of the BIG as a KTBI or KTBI as a BIG partner?
I don't think they're having any queries right now, so you can go ahead.
Okay. I will be going through the application portal now. Is my screen visible to everyone?
Yes, visible.
Yeah. So I believe how many applicants are there as well. Like I'm not showing it to my team only or the black screens. Can I get some responses like who are interested to see that application portal, how it would be?
We are getting the answers in the chat box. Yes, please.
Okay, yeah, thank you. So first of all, sorry, I need to mention over here, you need to go for this birac.nic.in for the application. Okay, when you go for this birac.nic.in, you will be getting this page where you need to click on this login and register. When you need to, if it's the first time, then you need to register for that. That you will be getting login and register. It's first time you will have to click on the register part and you can register over here. Click here to register. Okay. And if you're not a new user, you already had an account, you can directly, like me, you can open over here. And don't get that scared. Like sometimes this Birac BIG, this portal doesn't work perfectly all the time. So it may get delayed sometimes, but anyways, it will work for sure. And it is suggested that this is one of my colleagues' names. I have opened it previously. That's why I'm showing it every time. So open now. And while you have opened it, you will be able to see in the dashboard your name over here. So when this window is open, you would be able to see this biotechnology ignition grant scheme. You click it over there, then you would be getting call for proposal, call for proposal. You click here to submit a new one. See, all these are pending one. You can just open one proposal. Just a moment. Okay. So, okay, so while open the account, open this window where you would be able to, if you there is any pending proposals are there. So a lot of pending one because we have been showcasing every time. So we you ignore that one. If you are going for a new proposal, you click over here. While clicking over, you will be able to get this page. This is the first page where you need to mention the basic information first. That is the application type. You need to write if you're an individual or a company, you need to mention. Then incubator name, that your name you have to write. Incubated at, you can write about where you have incubated. It's not necessarily you need to write about that KTBI or BIG partner name. You need to mention about where you are incubated, where you need to write about the title of the proposal. Okay, I need to mention about what is the title of a proposal, or what I have already mentioned. It has to be crisp. It has to be very significant to your proposed idea and very understandable. One suggestion over here: if we are not incubated anywhere, then we would suggest you to write Kit TBI, and for the letter of intent you'll be giving, that would be enough as of now. Okay, so if you don't have any idea where incubated and you write KTBI. If you have already incubated somewhere, you can write for that incubator partner name or that's in the host incubator name. Then you need to choose about the thematic area. You need to choose whether it is like healthcare drugs, or I will choose industrial biotechnology, for example. Subthematic area, you can choose by energy, biofuels. Please select option it can be, none of this: big data, data analytics, AI, ML, IoT based automation. Automation, I will be making for example, a instrumentation automated bioenergy, biofuel production house or production equipment unit. So you can mention about the key units, biofuels, yeah, etc., etc. So have you shout mentoring guidance to an associated partner? You can mention by yes. Then who are the associated partners? You can mention over here. Okay, so this is the part where I was mentioning. In the BIG partner, you need to mention over here. If it is you are associated with any associated partner, you can mention here. Okay. Then proposal duration, as you know, it is for 18 months only. It is already mentioned. You mentioned about, like, yeah, PSD step number 2 I have mentioned. Okay. Then BIG partner would be, you can see the other BIG partners, IKPs, C Camp is there, FITT ITL is there, KIT Bhubaneswar. This is the one you need to choose while applying. So have you applied through another BIG partners? You have to say no. If you do yes, then it would be contradictory. And again, it's better to suggest you that you apply through one partner only. It is always better. Otherwise, if we get selected or there'll be any problems, some other compliances like while that eligibility criteria and all the screening, then after that it would be a difficult one. So please always choose for one partner, for example, for applying for this BIG. Then you have need to accept, then save and continue. That's the title of the project you have to give, like products. Okay. Don't go for this my what title I have written, because you need to do it very more specifically and nicely. Just for the sake of saving it, I have given it. Okay. One more part. Yes. Have you applied the provision? No. So anytime you, if you are missing any part, that will be giving you a hint again. Yes. Okay. Then you go get to the next page. Basic information is done. Now you have to give up the particulars of the applicant, where you have to choose particular of the applicant, unit number. Already have given the name, location, the das, address. While registering, you might have give this data, so you will be getting all this information over here. Okay. PAN card, browse. You can choose any of this. Okay. Can check any data photos. Don't have any photos. Okay. Hmm. So file name is not valid. You need to check that. You need to change passcode of a PI that you have to upload. So we need to be very sure. See, every time it is showing that the name is not that specific characters cannot be mentioned or cannot be used. That you need to be very careful about. Okay. So that you after you submit all these things, then are you promoter, shareholder company? If you're like opening as a company, or is then you need to mention about this. That's are you a promoter shareholder of the company, or one of the partners is LLP? Then you need to mention yes or no. If it's a yes, then whether company LLP is operating in the biotech domain, yes or no. Then if you are applying as a company, then you need to follow this pattern where you need to provide all the details of what is the shareholding pattern. You have to remember that during the eligibility criteria, if you are a biotech based company, if you're a co-founder or the founder of the company, if you are a shareholding of more than 20% of that company, if you're having two different biotech company, then it would not be possible, you would not be eligible. So then what you have to do, you should have the major shareholding partner, like Indian based partner has to be having the more than 50% of a shareholding in a particular company. And if you have another biotech company and you have more than 20% in that company, then you have to reduce it. Okay, that shareholding, that number that has to be shared percent has to be reduced. Otherwise, you would not be eligible for that. So for that only, these all these things has to be given over here. So whether the company LLP is operating the biotech domain, you need to mention no. If you mention yes, then you have to mention all the details, yes or no. Then when do you plan to incorporate a startup? You can mention if you're an individual, then you need to mention are you okay. If you're an individual, then mention no. So are you plan to incorporate a startup? Then you need to mention that what is the date, like after 1 or 2 months, as we mentioned during the my session. You can mention about any time during your BIT, like October, November, something like that. That name of the incubator where you are going to do it, address of the incubator. You can put Kitty by MOU or agreement of the incubator LOI, letter of intent. This is very important because you need to get the LOI. So that's why we are requesting you all to get the LOI by today itself, so that you would be able to get, for example, and at least these segments can be covered or the filled up for the your BIG one. Okay. So that has to be done. Then have you applied for another biotic funding scheme? Yeah. Have you applied to any other biotic funding scheme? You can mention yes or no. If it is yes, then you need to mention about the what is the scheme, what is the title, what is the things. These things they would be the biotic team would be would be curious to see what are the application that they have received for other funding opportunities. So it would be generally no. So I need to upload a PAN card. Let me see just if I can do anything from there. Got it now. Only PDF is allowed. Okay. My name is not valid. Can you provide special characters? Then you need to go for this. Okay. See, the one question I got, see, of that during my presentation, I think Mr. Ajit has asked for that, Dr. Ajit has asked for that. What will the size? See, if while applying through, you would be able to get this only 2 MB file or PDF file is allowed. So you prepare your this files based on that, you would be able to get it easily. Fine. Save as draft. So I saved it. Okay, close. Then you go for this project details. So while talking about the project details, no records found, add a new one. In that project details, you need to write about first name, gender, designation, organization, landline number, all these things. Save. Okay. I think it is a save as draft. Then you need to talk about these proposal details. In that proposal details, you go for C. Now you will see that what are the components are there. First is the proposal summary you need to write about. Provide a brief one paragraph overview of a proposal, that is the idea and the problem it will solve, and the brief project plan. So this summary would be talking about the background, the problem statement, and the brief summary of your project of what you're proposing. So within 200 words, you need to make such a nice paragraph over here where you are mentioning talking about the what is a proposal, what is a mainly your idea, what is a problem you are going to solve. So give a brief problem statement, then background, then you talk about your proposed solution and your unique features. That's it. That's going to be your proposal summary. And you can, if you have, please upload a concept note explaining the technology with necessary figures and diagrams. It is very important. You must upload a concept note over here where you have a process flow chart. You please add it. Okay, if you have a technology, you write about the problem statement, bullet points, then what is the problem solution technology you are proposing that you mention, and that you give a flowchart based technology, flowchart based representation, and you attach it. That will be your concept note. Okay. Then number two is briefly state the objectives and the proposed approach. Describe how the proposed project address the problem. Clarify the current states of the innovations. Okay, clarify the current status of the innovation. The description should cover the following points. One, strategy and the methodology of the work, scope and the boundaries of the work, including any issues that will not be covered, uh, and the data analysis, sample size, data collection that has been done. So this is preliminary data. See, if you are not in a preliminary stage, that ideation stage, you have not done any work, that is also fine. No, nothing to worry about. You can write about the literature survey that has been already done. So the strategy or the methodology, how we are going to propose, you have to specifically mention that. And what is the scope or the boundary of the work that you need to mention. Okay, and data analytics means that the sample size or the data collection that has been done by you for the literature survey, from the literature survey that you can mention. And in case of real, like those who are already having a little bit of data of preliminary studies, they can also mention about the what are the data that has been generated and the sample size that was taken. That will be given over here. So you need to write over here about all these briefs. Okay. Then you need to, there's no like a limit over here to write about. So you can write at least 500, 500, 600 words. If you want more than that, you will be able to write. You need to see the characters as well. Then you need to write about the nobility, as I already explained to you. What are the nobility parts you have to mention? That you will be mentioning this opportunity. What is the potential social and market impact? Opportunity means when talking about the problem statement. After the talking the problem statement, you should mention about a little bit of the opportunity. Like what is the total market addressable area, and how well distributed this product is needed. I mean, what is the unmet need? This gives the unmet opportunity, unmet need, or the exact opportunity for your proposed idea that you need to mention. Okay, that has to be there. The challenges or the risk, if you have your any factors of your project that you can mention. What are the challenge and the risk factors that you envision which may affect this project that you need to write about here. Has any preliminary work has been done, carried out, gives a status of the work done. So if no, please provide the background details. So you can mention if it is not any preliminary work done, you can write about the literature survey of the results and the data. If the preliminary work has been done, then you specifically mention about the what are the things that has been done and what during the will be given. Again, these things is very important. The technology readiness level, as I mentioned, current TRL level has to be within TRL 3. Please make sure while mentioning that your current TRL 3 has to be within the TRL level has to be within 3. Please note it down. You need to mention about that current TRL level within 3, 1, 2, 3, not more than that. You need to mention about that TRL 1, 2, 3. See, only these three options will be also available. And expected you can mention about based on your project planning. You can see in the Google also technology readiness level, in which category it will be formed. Generally, BIG, it would be within 5, 6. Okay. So that you need to mention because it will be like MVP level. A prototype is development is ready. You will be going for the validation and all. It means it's a 5 to 6. So in between, you can mention about that. Okay. So propose end customers and end outcomes. Sorry. Your BIG project is expected to result in the following end outcomes that you need to mention. What is either whether it will be a product, with the knowledge-based services or the technology, whether it's intellectual property only. So all these things has to be mentioned. What are the things? Okay. So multiple options are there. You can mention. So future plan, as I mentioned that during the BIG roadmap, pre-BIG, during BIG, post-BIG is there. So post-BIG, you need to mention about what are the things are remaining, like what are the future plan is going to do, like market strategy, what are the timelines and milestones, what are the data analysis, sample size data collection you are going to do that you need to mention in the future plan. After that, 10 is intellectual property. This is important as you need to mention what are the intellectual property that's already been achieved and what are the intellectual property that you are going to like do or go for the patent during your BIG that you need to mention for sure. Okay, that is very important. The list of the patents to be covered by the part of the technology for which is similar for FTO, you need to mention, please mention the patent number and patent title and patent assigned. Okay, that appear to be covered any part of a technology. So if it is there, if you're already taking some other technology, already patented technology, and few parts are you're mimicking the same, that you can mention over here. If it is not related to that, if you are not using any kind of technology, then leave it. So you can write not applicable. Okay, so if there is any patents that are overlapping, if it this is the FTO, if it is there, then you write about the details. If it is not related to you, then you write not applicable. Then relevant references you have to give because whenever, if you even if you are in ideation stage or the prototype development stage, you have already achieved a little bit. You might have done some referencing, right? From some references you have, it can be a website, can be a literature articles. Okay, all these details has to be given over here reference because it's a star marked one. Then after that, you have to go for the file upload declaration document and ethical legal safety if it is needed. Then if any, then you have to go for that. Now after that, upload a presentation. This is important. We'll be sharing the upload presentation template also. Click at the download format. You will be able to not, we don't need to share, you would be able to easily get downloaded from here. When you download it, you will be able to see, let me show the format also. When you download it, you will be able to get this format template where you will, as I mentioned during the pitch, you will be getting all the details over here. Project titles, proposed solution, technical details, project team, novelty, visibility, IP strategy, market strategy, all these things already mentioned. You will get the details and you have to fill up like that, as I mentioned in my session. Okay. So after completing this, you need to upload that. This is very important because when you send it to the reviewers or the experts, online reviewers, when first attempt they see it, they will also go through this PPT. And in the first glance, if you're not, it's making it presentable and your idea is not clear, it is not going to get selected for the next round for sure. So very serious about it while preparing your pitch deck or preparing your presentation. If you need any help, please, as I mentioned, you might have found that link also in the register, like in the chat box. We would be able to give you, that's a special one to handhold each of you based on your connection. We'll be contacting you, or you can call us directly. Each of the stages of your application would be able to help you till 16th of August. Okay, so that kind of support we are willing to give you to get this grant for sure. Then undertaking by the principal investigator with regards to the originally proposed submitted. You can download the format over here and you can give the undertaking. That is not very tough thing to do. It has to be from the PI that they have to signature and the few details has to be there. So when this proposal details is been done, see, I told you sometimes it will show like this. If you stay long time for this website, this will not work. So try to do it a little bit, segment wise. You complete it, you save it. You complete it and save it. You have to do it like that. Okay. So any other information related to that? Okay, I have to log in again. Materialization grant, pending your submitted proposal, edit proposal. Now I was in project related details. Okay. Proposal details I'm talking about. Any other information? So any other information you need to upload any additional relevant document. I would suggest always do and add some documents like any other excessive like data you have. You have any letters and all from that. If you have collaborators, email exchanged, one things, all these things you add more relevant data over here, relevant document that this may help you to get this or you will get a good evaluation for that for sure. Then after that, proposal objectives and milestones, timelines. You need to go there. Just a minute. Yes, propose objectives. So as I mentioned, you need to mention the objective main. Then what are the methodology experiments you have to done? Mention it to right. Select one. Okay. Then alternative strategies. If you have alternative strategies, that is fine. If you do not have alternative strategies, it's no need to worry about that. But basically, try to give all the experimentation design of the more detailed work plan in based on these objectives. Okay. Thank you. Next. Objectives wise, this is objective wise activities and timelines. Again, another, please fill the first. Okay. So after filling the proposal and objective work plan, you would be able to get that where you have to give the timelines and the, milestone basis. We will be giving you the another format also. Okay. I'd like to request Adrija to put the BIG template form that is there. Na? You can share in the chat box also to look into it. It will be easy for them. Adrija, are you there?
Yes, I'm there, and I have already posted the links in the chat box
Okay, great. Thank you.
with all our contact numbers and hand-holding support link and the LOI link. I request everyone to please take a note of the links and keep it somewhere safe so that you can
And
access
one
them
more thing,
later.
you can add that Adrija, if you have, I will share with you now. You can add that form template to them. Okay.
Okay, definitely, definitely.
Yeah, just give me 1 minute. I need to share.
In the mail with them.
Okay, yeah,
After the
that'll be
session
fine.
ends, yes, after the
Okay,
session ends, I'll
yeah,
definitely share this with everyone.
thank you. Yeah, so after that, where was I? Yeah. So objectives and milestones have been done. Then quantifiable proposal milestones. When you click there again, you would be able not able to, because I have not given the objectives on that part. So after filling up, you would be able to get it very easily. It's not too much thing to do. Then details, equipment, accessories, justification. You open it. You for the detailed equipment, accessories. You will be able to get these details. Equipment, accessories, capacity, quantity, total estimated values in lakhs. You can mention. Okay, one by one, you will be able to mention. That is done. Human resources involved in the project. You can mention about how many human resources you want to give their name, position, number, excuse me, number, position, qualification, experience, age, and what with the salary and total amount. So that details you can go. Consumable details also you can put items, quantity, all the details you can provide. It's not too difficult to give. Then recurring, if any recurring hands are there, then you can mention. Then other financial details, if it is there, miscellaneous, or if you want to emphasize on in some specific, sometimes some of the projects they require a little bit of different budget for particular specific things. So you can mention over here. That will be justified. If it is a justified one, that will be sanctioned if you get selected for this PIG. Then budget summary and details done. Then budget details completely. You would be able to get when you completed the budget justification first, then you will be able to see that. Then after that, you need to submit over here final submission. When all the part is green like this, done. Okay. Then after that, you would be able to do the final submission. So when it is done, I will show you one more thing, that application template form that I have already shared with Adrija, and she will share with all of you whoever has registered and attended this. They will be getting all the important part. Yeah, these are the application template. After you will be able to see this. See, all the components are there. You can do one thing. What we suggest in general, before going for the final application, you must write all the component in your MS Word file. Okay, for the writers, you write all the part. If you want to see the application also, we would be able to in MS Word only. MS Word with all the points, just copy paste it and you submit or write your answer over there, or write your segments based on the application form, and you can it can be rated from our BIJ team. Then after that, when you confirm, then you can apply. Okay, but if you are confident enough, but before that, we would also suggest the concept note has to be sent to us to at least look into it. If it means any suggestions or any changes, that we'll be able to tell you. Okay, so these were the I have shown you the complete BIG, what is the scheme and how it works, and what are the things that you need to cover. Then I showed you what Kitty Bear as a BIG partner would be able to help you. And after that, also I mentioned about what is the BIG template format for that pitch deck, and how the application process would looking into it in an online platform. And yes, almost covered everything. Is there any question left? So if there is no other, yeah, if there's
If
no
there's
other
no other
question,
question, yes, Mr. Dharanidharan is there from PhD step. He wanted to share the video of PhD step at the
yeah.
end of the session. So if we are done with the session, I would request Mr. Dharani to please go ahead with it.
Hello.
Yes, hello.
Yeah. Hello. Ajit this side. Hi.
Hi, ma'am.
Yes, Miss Priyadarshini, can you just hold on for 1 minute? We have a query from Mr. Rajit. We'll take that
Okay.
and then we'll move on to you. Yes,
Okay.
Mr. Rajit, go ahead.
Yeah, good afternoon. Also, I just wanted to ask Dr. Bhaskar sir regarding actually, suppose if I am actually going to apply as an individual, then what should be written on the organization name?
The organization name, if you are incubated, like, what is your background like? Where are you based now?
Bhubaneswar.
Oh, Bhubaneswar. Then in that organization, are you working somewhere?
No, no. So
Okay.
basically,
So
means I have a startup. I'm the founder of a startup, but I want to apply as an individual some other idea.
okay, then you write the organization as KTB. No worries.
Okay,
Okay.
thank you, thank you.
Yeah. And any specific question related to your project and all, I would encourage because please register through that hand holding link, and we'll be able to connect through. And you can give me a me or Dr. Jayalakshmi is there. Please give us a call separately also if you have any concern regarding your project, which you want to discuss personally or one-to-one basis. That will be also possible. Okay, so nothing to worry about. We are there for you for till the 16th of August for your final application. Yeah, Adrija, please go ahead.
Thank you, Dr. Bhaskar. I will just remind every one of you to please take a note of the links and the contact details which are provided in the chat box. Uh, yes, Ms. Priyadarshini, you can go ahead with the video.
Okay, ma'am, I will. Please touch.
BioNest is the initiative of the Biotech Industry Research Assistance Council, Government of India. The main objective of BioNest is to foster the biotech innovation ecosystem across the country and to nurture and accelerate cutting-edge product innovations by providing incubation support. With a 6,170 square feet incubation space, the Birac BioNest, situated in PSG Step at the PSG College of Technology, Coimbatore, is capable of supporting innovations and startups in the biotech sector. The PSG BioNest is equipped with wet labs and high-end precision instruments and
I think the video stopped playing.
Uh, Ma'am, can you hear the audio of?
Yes, we can hear the audio. We can see the video as well.
Okay, ma'am. Then.
offers the opportunity to connect with industries and to learn from mentors. The key thrust areas for the PSG BioNest are healthcare, food, agriculture, environment, and industrial biotech.
Recently, I started as an incubator here in PSG. PSG step is really a very helpful entity for entrepreneurs like us because it reduces definitely a lot of initial investment costs, and we have a very nice infrastructure here. And since they have also biotechnology department along with this, and we have some collaborations also with them. And overall working here is a very nice experience, and it's really a must for biotech startup companies like us.
If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. And just as the old African proverb suggests, The Birac Bionest Incubation Center at PSG STEP does just that. It works together with the stakeholders of biotech ecosystem to fulfill the most enterprising biotech ideas.
There are three important aspects of why STEP has been very important to us in this journey. So one aspect is access to material characterization facilities in-house, through which the testing process of our R&D has been expedited. And the second part has to do with access to government grants and funding opportunities, which are exclusively available to incubators such as PhD STEP. The third is access to application validation studies. So we are currently working with the civil department here at PhD Tech, and we have made tremendous inroads in the last 6 months, which has been purely due to the support that we've got from the institute as well as the PhD STEP authorities. We are very thankful to PhD STEP for that, and we look forward to working with them to commercialize our product. Thank you.
All through the process, incubatees connect with industry and academia and gain immensely from business and technical mentorship. They are provided with funding support right from ideation to execution. Apart from this, the incubatees have access to services such as IP and technology management, resource mobilization, access to mentors, and various networking platforms. Its presence is a great gift, not only for the people in Coimbatore city, but for the entire region. PSG STEP is committed to enabling more entrepreneurs in the field of biotechnology to scale up and turn their dreams and ideas into reality.
Thank you so much for this insightful presentation. This was really wonderful to see the PSG STEP Bionest Incubator. Dr. Bhaskar, are you there in the meeting? There is a question we have in the chat box.
Is there any age restriction for the submission of the proposal? Certainly no. There is not such age restriction until now Binac is given, so we can apply. If you're there should not be any age limit for the entrepreneurs or the innovation, so you can apply for. Yes, there is a restriction for the startup age. So if you're an startup who has been already been more than 5 years, then you would not be eligible. But if you're less than 5 years old as a startup, then you can. Thank you.
If there are no more further queries, we can wind up the session. But before we wind up, I request every one of you to please turn on your camera for once so that we can have a quick screenshot, and then we'll wind up the session.
So it's good to see that. I thought of like I was talking to most of the black screen. I got a reply. So my apologies. I'm not able to. I don't know why my camera is not working. It's only showing some background, but it's good to see that everyone is there. Thank you. Thank you so much for joining. I think we have tried to cover almost all the aspects regarding the application process, as well as what are the things that you are going to be facilitated during the BIG. Now we would like to request, let's do it together. Okay, you apply. If you need any hand holding during the application process, if you have that idea, it is really very important for us, for everyone, to nurture it. So all the best. All the best for your application.
Thank you, Dr. Bhaskar. Thank you. It was really insightful. Though in between I was trying to get those yes, and I request all the applicants to the attendees to, if you, this is not the limitation that you attended this session. In case of any query regarding your personal project, when you want a one-to-one interaction, Dr. Bhaskar and myself, we are ready to help you anytime. So all these, first of all, I would request you all to take the LOIs. Adriza has shared the link, I guess in the chat box.
Yes, all the important links are shared in the chat box along with our contact details. I hope every one of them have taken a note of the same.
Yeah. So while taking the LOI, I request all of you for an initial know-how of how you're going to proceed. What is your technology about? Please upload the concept note as well. So that will also help us to understand your science and your technology. Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Bhaskar and Nadrija.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. Yeah.
Thank you, PhD Step, for joining.
Thank you, PhD Step, and
Thank
yes, it
Thank
was
you,
really
sir.
nice.
But sorry
Yeah.
for the interruption made.
No worries, no worries. I mean, it's fine. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
All the best.